Hi, it's the girl out there right here with you. It's me, Cindy. And this week I am here with
Dear Diary.
It's the last week or the last day before 2022.
You mean 2022?
I know. I know. I was so excited. I was listening to, if you go back and listen to Jessica's, the energy one, she's saying 2022, yes. 222, 222. And I'm like, does anyone else hear that she is saying tutus?
That's immediately what I thought of when I was listening to that. I was like, oh, Cindy is going to pull a tutu comment here any minute.
I know. I was like, this is so exciting. I said, it is finally
year of the tutu, obvious.
I know. It's going to be the year. We are just going to be wearing tutus all the time. And that is just going to be it. And I know that everyone is feeling very heavy. I'm watching myself for those who are going to watch this because my top you can hardly see. So it looks like I'm not wearing anything. I know that this is going to be, they're in a heavy time right now, but as I've said for the last 6 months, there's something about pulling fun back into our lives and creating a space of owning some silliness has been really something I think needs to come back in, even in the heaviest of times. And so I'm really wanting to create that space back in for us and for my business and owning it for real. And if anyone can see the sweater that you are wearing right now, when they're watching it, I think we need to describe it. Go.
Yeah, this is a sweater I bought for a Christmas party. I'm gonna say 15 to 20 years ago, and I I'm frugal with my costumes, so I bought it at a thrift shop, and it was pretty vintage at the time. Hung on to it. It is it's a black lamb's wool sweater that has definitely been washed in warm water, so it's really much smaller than its original maker intended. And it is covered in silver lame appliques over the chest and shoulders. The applique images do somewhat resemble a female uterus, which I've been told after I wore it to work one New Year's Eve last year, I think. It's got some embroidery also over the shoulders. I lost the shoulder pads at some point over the last couple of decades, but it has a bit of a boat neck and kind of a wingy sleeve. I hope to never say goodbye to this sweater because it's precious.
It does look like a female uterus, and when you just for those who can see, you are actually you're flapping your arms right now. And when you said that you lost the shoulder pads, I had a flashback to the days of my mom, and I'm sure your mom too. She used to have a tank top that she would put under her sweaters with built-in shoulder pads. I don't know if your mom ever had that. It was like
mine just had, I remember my mom had a stack that had Velcro on the back, so you could just pop them into any sweater. So they didn't have to be built in. You could just, and you would of course grab them and put them on your shoulders. And be funny when you're a little kid. So
I think this is so funny.
I could have looked a lot more linebacker-like had I still had the shoulder pads in this beast. But
yes.
The theory behind shoulder pads was that they were to make your waist look smaller, right?
I don't know.
I think that was the theory, because it was all about the tight waist, right? And then like you'd have the wide belt around your waist and the big
so you'd have that big broader up there and then down. Okay, I get it. Yeah. I'm just thinking because, and I didn't tell you this. There was, and you know what, this is actually an interesting thing I'm going to say too. You and I had an amazing night together was it October 2010, because that's how long ago it actually feels when I actually saw you. I'm being dramatic right now. I think I saw you in November.
That was almost 2 months ago.
2 months
Like,
ago.
as in tomorrow, it'll be 2 months ago. So that is way too long.
I know, I was saying this to my mom. I'm like, I haven't seen. So we'd had this night, and before the night had happened, you'd said, if you have too much, I know what your life's like right now. If you have too much, don't worry, don't come over. And I said, you know what? No, it's either tonight or I'm not seeing you until January. And half thinking that's not really going to be when I'm not going to see her again, but in the back of my head, realizing it might be. And so we had this really great night, and then I haven't seen you since because life.
Because life, exactly.
Life. We talk a billion times a day.
Holidays.
Yeah. But I was thinking just before this had aired that you and I haven't even debriefed about the few dates I had been on in the last and then how life had gone on, and that's not happening right now. But I had gone on some dates, and the person I had talked to had asked about our podcast and was saying, so what do you mean? You and your best friend go on a podcast together and you talk about nothing? And
that's right, sir. And if you have a problem with that, you can just keep on walking. Okay.
And it was
so fun, and that's the main thing.
And it was such a great, though, like, it was an interesting conversation, because having him try to wrap his head around that this is what people talk about, and I said, oh yeah. And then I was talking to, and he was like, that's interesting. Like, so he's like, well, what's the concept? I'm like, oh, random. Like, sometimes it's dates, sometimes it's shoulder pads.
Yeah, it is interesting that people will tune in to that. And I mean, you're special, and you are unique, and I don't mean this in a self-deprecating way at all, but you obviously have a gift to share with the world, and this is your way to do it. So I think that us having chats about nonsense is probably just what some people need to hear after they've watched the news and the 96th shutdown of their gym has just occurred. And because we don't get down about our gym shutting down.
No,
because we don't do gym.
No.
But yes, that is an interesting perspective from gentleman. Absolutely right.
Well, I think that's it, where it's true, right? We could. There's moments I think I was in a very dark place for September to January, still was trying to stay positive for what I could stay positive about, but I am human just like everybody, and have those moments. You saw the photos, but I do feel like if I can have a venue or a space where we can share some light and silliness, because I think that's what we all need. And I think that's so important. But you should have seen this guy's face, just like, what? They just listen to you talk about that. Like, yeah.
Why not? You should really listen. Share with your friends.
I know.
Not sure that he's our target
he's not audience.
Our audience. Which, like, my husband can't even listen. He's like, I listen to you guys talk all the time. Like, I can't listen to a recorded version of you talking because I've pretty much already heard the conversation. Anyway, so yes, not the audience, but anyway, even if we just did it for the two of us, to me, it would still be fun.
I think that's
thanks, audience. Thanks for anybody who is enjoying this.
Yes. I do agree. I think knowing that I've gone out and people are now saying, and they're talking about it, and they're really enjoying just the way to just turn it on and have a moment with us. So good. And I know that in this last few weeks, things have shifted. I made big decision in a way to flee the country. And
Risky.
I did take
Very risky.
risky. So we are in the warmth of Maui. You can really tell by my tan.
I mean, it's the selfie lamp probably
Yeah.
that's making your tan look a little less dark. Yeah, should really lay off the baby oil.
Yeah,
Your skin in 30 years will thank you for
yes,
not
tanning. But
yes,
it was
not
something
tanning.
that
Yeah.
I
Very different weather.
yes, sorry, and I know we're overlapping a little bit, but it was something that I debated, and in the last hour had to buy some extra insurance for us to get here. And you know, something that my whole family had looked at doing for about 7 months. And so we're here, and then almost like 2 days later, COVID really blew up.
Yeah.
And I keep saying, wouldn't it be nice if they called it something a little sweeter? Maybe we wouldn't be so angry with every single thing that comes out and it's called like Omicron and such heavy names.
Yeah.
I understand the process of what they're called, but I would like it if they were called like Daisy. I'd like to catch a Daisy.
Yeah. Or like rainbow bug.
Rainbow bug. Yeah.
Like that beautiful rainbow lying behind you.
Yes, I'd like that. If I caught Ryan Gosling, I'd be like, did you catch Ryan Gosling? Yeah. Oh man, we're all home with Ryan. So
that's a great idea. Why
right?
didn't somebody else think of that?
I know.
It's those scientists aren't
Who
quite
caught the
as
Ryan Gosling?
positive as you. I'm totally gonna get it.
Who's gonna get it? Next time they're calling, gonna be like, oh, who caught Cindy? Oh,
Of course. Why didn't we think of that?
no.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so it's the last day of 2021. You've had a rocker of a year.
Yeah.
On many levels.
Yeah.
What are you gonna miss? What are you looking forward to?
So
I just yeah, this is not a pre-planned question, as you can tell.
Yeah.
So just like whatever comes to your mind.
It
doesn't have to be the only thing.
Yeah, what am I going to miss? I think I there's not
you can
there's
say
not
nothing.
There's really not too much I'm going to miss. I think I learned so much in this year. Like so much came out of this year. So I kept this is going to be a bit of a tangent question. Because in this year, I kept thinking, why is all of this happening? What, like, even though there was so much greatness for me that came out of this year, I kept going like, there's another lesson. There's another thing. I'm in this mud again, or I've jumped from one thing into something heavier. But out of it, I have learned so many tools that I wouldn't have learned if I didn't keep going into one heavier pot of crazy. So I keep thinking, if I hadn't taken so many risky leaps for myself this year, I wouldn't be as prepared as I am now for what is coming for myself. I'm just feel so much more confident in what's coming, but do I miss any of that? No. So, what did you ask? What one thing I'm going to miss and one thing
you're looking forward to?
So I'm looking most forward to, because I really feel like 2022 is a year of alignment to prepare for 2023. So I'm really feeling like this year is all about patience and slow and preparing for a really great year in 2023 is what I keep thinking. So right. I am looking forward to this year of like almost envisioning it as a gigantic journal of myself. So like getting myself on track for my business, but also for my own self. Like I'm seeing myself getting healthy.
Mm-hmm. It's very exciting to watch you. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's, I am also looking forward to those things for you.
Yeah.
That would also be my excitement for 2022. Yeah. And I don't know. I've never really been the person who's made goals or resolutions or made some big distinction between the last day of December and the first day of January 1st. But you have taught me that it's important to let things go and important to have a direction, have intention. And so I am, that is new for me. And it's exciting. I've delved into a lot of things this year too. And although not at as messy a level as you got to with your endeavors, and I mean that in the most wonderful way, because I know that everything you do is an investment, and I support you 140,000%. But yeah, like I dove into the flower essence, I dove into journaling, I kind of got more spiritual than I ever saw myself being. And I am ready to dive into that a little bit more. And that's exciting to me. That's what I'm looking forward to. And you, of course, just being there on my side to encourage me through it is what I obviously need. But I'm seeing I can do it more for myself now, which is exciting.
Yes. I love that.
You're good at not giving me the answers right away. Then when I get there, you're like, yeah, like this, I knew this was coming. I was just waiting for you to get there. And yeah, it actually just makes me well up a little bit, like how integral a role you have been for me. Oh my God, I'm going to cry on the podcast for the first time in getting to this place for myself. That I don't even quite understand yet, but I know it's coming. And thank you.
How amazing is that I'm seeing you cry.
It happened. And I wasn't even, I didn't even know it was going to go there, but thank you. Thank you. Gosh, you know what? 2 weeks in the bliss space might do this to a person. So for those of you who have not jumped onto the monthly bliss space membership, dive in, folks, because like I say, this was a 2-week gift to all from Cindy, and it may not feel in the moment particularly significant, but they all pile up and have this big impact. Oh my God, I need a tissue. I don't have one. I just use my hand. Yeah, so it's incredible. And it's seriously, it's not a monumental task, I think is what I'm trying to say. And I think that I always felt that if I was going to, being a spiritual person wasn't me, wasn't something I really grew up with. It was for other people, and I supported people and I'm encouraging of people, but not for me. And whoo, it happened just like that. You pulled it out of me. Thank you again.
I always say to people that it is this is why I'm so passionate about even the bliss space, right? That I want it to be, I can't believe I just, I'm going to try to stay.
Sorry,
focused.
I know. I'm still trying to wipe my nose with my hand first.
Just use the sweater. It's got.
It's dry clean only, Cindy. I'm gonna have to use the inside of it.
Here's a fan all the way from here. I knew I needed.
Yeah. Whew. Hot over here. So,
I've
my
always
arms are
said
full.
to people that it's a collection of little tools, and that we sometimes see these things like you must meditate on a rock, or you must do whatever it is, all these things. And when and even when I've started this business or whatever, and I have all this, you have no idea how much stuff I have. It's ridiculous, but nothing sorted. And so when we created this bliss space, and I was like, oh, I can sort it month by month, and just like sending out those daily ideas. I mean, that's how I feel I live. But it's allowed me to stay more centered with who I am in, and trusting my own intuition. It's not, so that's when sorry, I'm going on a tangent, but, and so I know that by the end of this year, if somebody stays in that bliss space, it's not all just about like opening your third eye, because I don't agree with that. Before you can just open your third eye, you have to understand, okay, well, if I smile more, or if I turn on this song, or if I understand that purging might help, all these different little things will actually allow you to use your intuition, and some will work for some and some won't. And so that's why I want this space to be. And I've watched you for so long say that this is not you, and I'm like, yes, it is you, but it's trying to figure out a way to make it work. So I am so excited, and watching you, even my mom, who's known you for so long, right? And she's listening to you on this podcast now, going like, just listening to her, so amazing. Like, and I love it because it's the person I know. But I think other people have only seen you in maybe a more conservative side if they didn't see you for so long, right? And so so good.
You just pull it out of people. You really do. Like it's your gift. And this this membership, this belonging, this community you've created is just spreading it to the masses so abundantly. Like it's just, it's your gift. It's your my present is your presence, as you've been known to say. Famous quotes by
funny.
Cindy. It's true.
Well, like I am not so good with gifts.
Oh, but you are. Oh, but you are. You just not traditional gifts.
Not the traditional gifts.
Not traditional gifts. Is it okay to share what you got me for Christmas?
Oh, yes.
I won't actually share the item, but it's not an item. It's not a thing. Cindy's gift giving abilities are not things. She had a song written for me. It's a song, a whole song. She had to like write our life story to this artist who wrote it, and this artist sang it for me, just me. So I mean, I think you have to take off the crown of bad gift giver and put a different one back on, because brown velvet shirts aside, you're my gift.
My presence is my presence.
You have the gift of making people fairy. Exactly.
Thank you. Yes, I know. It's just thank you. I think it's
my year is all about gratitude for you.
Oh, thank you. Truly, I think this podcast is just you and I
gushing over each other.
And I think that's part of it too, is for people to what I really want this year for everyone is to gush on themselves a little bit in humble, beautiful ways. It took, I could cry. It took a lot for me to even post that me singing which was interesting, because that felt like I was showing off. So it was an interesting moment for me because I was like, oh, I want people to share their parts of themselves or things that they love. And Aretha had put that for me last year as, oh, I want us to do this duet. Aretha's a good friend. And I loved that she had sent a clip of herself practicing it, 2 days ago, learning all the chords. And here we go, we're going to sing it. And it was an interesting piece of myself because there we were across the world from each other, practiced it one time. And I said, okay, here, let's throw it up. And, but within me, it was, even though I'm on Instagram posting and doing things, no problem at all. But it was very hard for me to post something of myself sharing that, because it felt like, oh, people will think I'm, even though the singing wasn't like perfectly done, but it was an uncomfortable for me to share that. And so then I thought, but we do need to share these parts of ourselves, and we do need it's okay to say that we want to share this part and not be perfect at it, and say that we enjoy this. And so that, I think, is my big, if that's what I'm wanting for my community, I want to do that for everyone. So that's what I'm learning.
Yeah, stepping outside of the comfort zone, right? And and I do think we are in a society that is very quick to judge women specifically, and it's easier to join somebody's negativity than it is to celebrate their good doings.
Yes.
Or talents, especially in the world of social media, when it's so easy to judge somebody. Take a lot of courage to brag, be like, hey, I am good at this in a genuine way, and not in a, I'm looking for attention and I'm looking for people to tell me how great I am. That's not what it is. And it's yes, I want people to share in something I feel good about myself in, but that is something I don't think we're really good at as a society, is really loving each other for our talents. It's far easier to be like, oh yeah, the year sucked, and yeah, let's like all these pictures of these epic fails in people's lives, versus I can sing and
yes,
I'm going to share it
and
I'm proud of that. And yeah, like, I mean, in a very muted and comedic version of that, I bought myself a karaoke microphone for Christmas.
Yes.
Because I don't think anybody really would have gifted that to me otherwise, except for maybe you. But I just ripped that thing out whenever I felt like it over the holidays with company. And a year ago, I would have felt self-conscious about that, and maybe only do it after a couple of drinks, or try and make it somebody else's idea. But I was like, no, I'm just going to own the fact that I really just want to sing right now, sober in the middle of the day. And singing's really therapeutic.
Yes.
Right? Like, just, it's like dancing, right? Like, just, I don't have a voice of an angel. That would be on my maybe wish list for one day. But I just love it. Like, and performing too, I quite enjoy. And just admitting that and saying it out loud feels a little bit uncomfortable. Once you do it, you're like, this just feels good.
It's
Right.
just, well, it's something within us, right? Like, and it doesn't have
Yeah.
to be, it is the same as dancing, where we don't realize until you get like a daily reminder. And it's almost like you need somebody to remind you to do those things that,
Well, permission to, right?
yeah,
Somebody,
yeah,
somebody gives you permission, and it's like, yeah, okay, yes, yes, yes. The text told me to do it. I'm going to do it.
the
Right.
text said to do it.
But those are just the stepping stones to getting there for yourself.
Because you won't. And I think, and so it's just like, oh, when you're in the shower, it's like, turn on a good tune and sing while you're in the shower, and like sing. And so, because people don't do that, it's like we stay in silence with ourselves so often. And so it's like, you have the freedom to do this all the time. And so it's like, for me, like the boys know, I'm in the car belting a song out. And it's because people are so worried about people seeing them in the car next to them. And I'm like, I'm giving them a concert. They are going to drive by my car and then they're gone out of my life. Why would I care if they saw me singing happily for a minute? Like, they're just sad they're not singing with me.
They're just going to smile.
Yes.
They're just going to smile, if anything, right?
Yes.
You know. Yeah.
So I think these are the things where we forget that. And that's what, with this, not that we need to advertise bliss space, but I think people don't even understand the concept, is why wanting to have, yes, the daily texts, and you do need to have ownership for yourself. And I get it. Simone was so good, because I was trying to give promos, and I wanted to give it like, maybe if I give it at a cheaper price to some people, and she goes, you know what? If people want to come, they'll pay because they actually want to do the space and the work with you. And it does take a lot of work, I know, like setting it up, and that's what I want to do. Then she said, but if they don't, then that's okay. It's just not their time. You want people that are intentionally wanting to be there and are happy and whatever, right? Like, so I think that's such a great, it's a great reminder for me too, because I want everyone to be in a space of enjoyment. Do you know what I mean? I'm just,
well,
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I want us all.
Exactly. And to your own detriment at times,
Yes.
because you just give it away.
I know.
But you know what? You do give a lot away, a lot. You know, whether it's through your social media or through podcasts. I mean, those are what ways people are accessing you without paying for your services.
Yes.
So
yeah,
always remember that.
yes. And I think that's a reminder for everyone that
therapy day on
I
the
know,
podcast.
this is good. I think this is a great way for us, but a great way for other people to hear too. Because I think, because we are in such a heavy time, that we can always access things first. Like, there's so many things. And I think this is why, Stephanie, you're such a great balance for me always, is because I think people, I don't want to make that assumption, but I believe for a lot of people, they always think Cindy just is always happy. Cindy just is, Cindy's different, or Cindy is somebody and we can't do it. So hearing what you have done is really good. And also for people to know, because I don't share it very often, it's just the way I am, is my life is hard at times. I go through a lot. And I'm not just like everybody else. And, but I've learned these tools to get me through it. And, so I think that's why I want people to have them, because nobody has a perfect life. And, I've chosen to not always share my heaviest moments on Instagram or on the world, because I do believe the more I feed out negativity, the more negativity goes out there. So it's not that I'm lying or doing that. It's just that I'm choosing how much I focus on where I put my energy. So when they hear that this is working for you, it feels really authentic, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think you I don't think anybody would believe that your life was perfect all the time. I don't think you are that person on social media. I mean,
Yeah.
not to like burst your bubble or anything, but I think you own being human pretty well.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, but yes, there's no doubt that some things you go through are just not for everybody to hear, and they're private, they're personal.
Yeah.
You are not particularly one to keep anything in, but yes, I mean, I don't think anybody would be surprised to know that you've had hardships, and I think that's why you're so good at moving on. You're well versed in the hardships.
Yeah.
Just
The
like
best.
next.
The
But
best though.
like it was like yesterday, she
Yeah.
sends me a picture of herself. I sent her a picture of me in the snow and then said, "How's the beach?" And she sends me back a photo of the back of a woman who's planted her beach chair directly in front of Cindy. So like, like she, like if you were just to look straight ahead, the thing in is just, this woman is just completely blocking your view.
Yeah. And the beach is empty.
And I'm like, I'm sorry, but anyway, that stewed me, and I was like, all these negative comments back, red face, nah. Then she's like, I'm just gonna smile, and I was like, really? Because if that were me and I just tried to paste a stupid smile on my face, that would just me be repressing, bottling up emotions. And you're like, no, I'm not smiling at her. I'm smiling at something else, redirecting my attention. Like, I just let that go. And I was like, oh, okay. See, this is another tool in the belt that I didn't have, because I'm like, sure, Cindy could tell me to smile right now, but it would be fake. It wouldn't be real. Anyway. Yeah. So again, full of tools, because some people are always going to sit in front of you at the beach.
They're literally going to, like, the ocean is all right there, sand everywhere, no one around me in my one little chair, just looking at my children. She walks right everywhere, and literally, oh, I know where I'll sit, directly in front of you. Like, what? Who?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Humans are interesting.
And so then, yes,
say about that.
And that's where I think it's always interesting for me when I talk to you, because the idea, like I say, the ideas are always so clear in my head of what I'm doing. But then I'm like, oh, just smile. But then you'll say, what do you mean? Like, you need the step by step, like the recipe of what works. So for me, I'll be like, oh no, you just do this.
Yes.
Because intuitively it makes sense to me, but I get it. That doesn't make sense to the majority of the world. Even like when I talk to Jessica now, understanding another person who's very intuitive, but in another way. Right. And so that's why I, again, now that I'm growing this community, I get it, because people will be very similar to you. And so I have to learn that I can't just be like, oh, you just do smile. So having group Zoom conversations where you then can break it down even further and say, well, how did this week go for you? What were you learning? How are you? So people can really have a space to talk, makes more sense too. So I get it, because it's not so clear when you're just learning, right? And for you, smiling may never be your well, smiling's always your tool with those you love, but smiling might not be a tool you'll use to get you through a day, right? Dancing and singing might be.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. So I think that's why teaching this is not for everyone. I mean, you're doing it successfully, but I see why it's difficult. It's a difficult tool to teach or a theory to teach, because it's not textbook.
Yes, totally.
But yeah, no, what you and Jessica are doing sounds amazing. Like, it's between the two of you and your different aspects on teaching the intuition. Yeah, I think those students are very, very lucky. They're going to come up with a lot.
I know. I think my mom's going to do the one in January. I'm so excited.
Wow.
Sorry,
Yeah.
there was just a bang.
Amazing. What, you mean your life isn't perfect?
I know. So sorry. I apologize. I
Is
am
it
in
a mysterious bang this time, or can you find the source of the bang this time?
I know. I do apologize because we are in a one-room place and my children are here. Yes, I know. That was that was so crazy. I was doing a podcast which has not aired, and we redid it, but I'm going to have to show that little video clip.
Yeah.
But just as we clicked record, we hear, oh, you've seen it, but it was like bam, bam. And it went on for 4 minutes. And it was shook, like a painting fell. There was nobody upstairs in the suite upstairs. Still nobody's staying up there. Now the guy next to us has moved. So mysterious noises upstairs from nobody. We don't know what.
It's you. The spirits are trying to get a hold of you, and you're not listening because you're on vacation. You're like, no, wait till you get home, spirits. I'll let you go over to the other side later. I'm not working except for podcasts.
Yes, I'm in my
Maybe
timeout.
Yes. Do your light work later.
Yeah.
Okay, so
well,
I think we should sign off, but I do want you to tell everybody what you do, because this 2020 TUTU is you only having one career.
I know.
And
So exciting.
I want to hear you say it.
Yes. So this is my year. I am now doing this in full. So I am an intuitive therapist and a Reiki master and a medium.
Bravo. Bravo.
Here to support you.
It's perfect. That's
There
all
we
you
go.
do. And I don't mean that's all you do. I mean, that is, you do all of that, is the way I should have said that. But I like that there's no alternative careers on the side. It's just so
There is
exciting.
nothing else. Here it goes.
Here we go.
Universe has my back.
Do this all the time, every time.
I can't believe I just saw you cry.
It's my gift. It's my Christmas gift to you. Because you said we weren't going to do gifts, and she didn't get you a gift.
You have no idea how big that was. Well, thank you.
Many more tears with you.
I know.
2022.
22. Love you.
Love you.